I get asked all the time, Colin, should I venture into doing this trade too? Right now I'm doing gutters. Should I add roofing or should I add windows? And this video, I want to focus on windows. Is windows a good business to get into in 2026? And the short answer to that is yes. The long answer, let's get into it. All right. So windows, the beautiful thing with windows is there's not a lot of overhead that you have to buy. All right. There's not expensive tools or an expensive machine or anything crazy like that you have to buy in order to get into doing windows. It's mostly hand tools, right? A little bit of power tools and things like that, but mostly hand tools that you're going to be using. A caulk gun, screws, a drill, impact, whatever your preference is. Maybe a Sawzall, multi-tool for your power tools, but for the most part, that's really it. You'll need some of the small hand tools for micro adjustments and things like that, but that's it, right? I guess you will want a brake as well, and that's probably gonna be your most expensive item. You can get used ones for like $800 to $1,200, or you can go buy a brand new one for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. All right, so relatively low startup cost. If you have a pickup truck, you can rock and roll, or like a big cargo van or a box truck, you're good to go. Enclosed trailer is what we tend to run our windows out of. I don't like the guys lifting things up into the box truck, so we got a ramp door, barn door, barn door on our enclosed trailer, rock and roll, all right? So relatively low startup cost to get into windows. The cool thing with windows is it's not a low ticket price, all right? You're not competing against a lot of trucking and trucks. There are handymen out there that will do window installs and whatever else, but people tend to value their windows crazy high. It's not like their roof or their gutter where they don't really value it. Now, that's not to say that you can't build value on your roof and gutters. We definitely do that and we get premium pricing on those things. But right off the gate, people really value windows because companies like Pella and Anderson have done a fantastic job of marketing energy efficiency. All right, so it's a big deal for people to get good, high quality windows, pay for them to be installed properly. Erie Construction, another one, big national company, 1-800-Hansons. They've all done a really good job of kind of paving that way for us, if you will. All right. So when we chose to get into windows, I was like, all right, let's figure this out. Just my business knowledge. I like to have a gross profit right around at least 50%, maybe more if we can eke that out. And I realized really, really quickly that's very simple to do in the window industry. I partnered with an awesome window manufacturer. I wasn't going to Lowe's, Home Depot, or local supply house and buying their windows. I found a manufacturer that would partner with me that actually was referred to me by another guy who does a lot of windows every year. Shout out Micah Duncan of Duncan Window and Door in Wisconsin. But I got connected with Climate Solutions Windows and they ship direct to me. It's pretty awesome. So I'm able to buy windows really affordably. And at first I was just doing a 4x multiplier. So let's shoot for 25% material cost on every job. I know my material will be, or my labor will be good. You gotta buy shims and foam and window tape and stuff like that too, but we should be all right. If we're sub, 28% all in on materials, I'm a very happy dude. I know that we can make it hit our gross profit numbers there. And I realized really quickly after running a few estimates. Now, mind you, I live in Podonkville, Magoo, all right? It's called Ludington, Michigan, really small little touristy town. I have to travel 50 miles to hit a total of 100,000 people, all right? Very, very remote up here. And average median income is $45,000, all right? It's very, very low, very, very low population, a lot of woods, a lot of hunting, a lot of generating food and stuff for yourself. Right? So not a lot of people spending a ton of money. We do have seasonal homes though, all right? And that's truthfully where I make a lot of my money is on seasonal homes, but also offering payment plans for all the locals, all right? So when it came to windows, after our first few demos, I did a lot. I studied what other people were doing, and I'm by no means a chuck in a truck showing up and all right, here's these windows, here's a price, let me know. That's not what we do. We did the dog and pony show, if you will. Went through all of that, built a lot of value. And the first few jobs I sold, they were like, yeah, absolutely, this sounds great. Sounds like you got a better product than Renewal by Anderson and you're half their price. I was like, what, I'm half their price? Well, actually, you were less than half their price. I was like, what? And it just it unlocked something in my brain. I was like, my goodness. Now, shame on me. I should have had renewal by Andersen out. It would have been kind of funny considering I have 49 Andersen windows in my home that are brand new. Well, I guess they're 2 years old now at this point, but before we started doing windows, I bought those. And I should have had renewal by Andersen out to study their sales process and kind of gauge where they're at per opening and things like that. But basically what I discovered at 4x my window cost, I was still like 35-40% of their pricing. And so now we run at 6x their window cost, or 6x our window cost. We're able to pay our technicians a little bit more, able to pay more in commissions to our guys. Everybody's a little bit happier, and the game has changed. So it's an incredibly profitable service that you can be offering, and our customers through the roof happy, all right? Every single customer we've done windows for is just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. The process went so smooth. Like, everybody wants their windows like next day, right? But when you're custom ordering windows, it takes, we're getting windows in like 4 or 5 weeks. We're still a very, very small fish in this window pond, all right? I have no priority with our manufacturer other than they give me good pricing, all right? So the reality of it is it's an incredibly profitable service. Actually installing windows, it's not rocket science, especially if you're doing pocket installs. If you're, tearing it out, reframing any of that stuff, like, yeah, okay, it can get a little bit crazy, but that's also where companies like us can win the game. I just sold one. It was, I think, 16. We bought 15 windows. They already had 3 of them. Weird little situation, but all in, it was like $36,000 project. But 2 of them, they wanted reframed, resized, whatever. And renewal by Andersen actually was like, we can only do 7 of these windows. That's it. And their final price on 7 windows. Mind you, I'm installing 18 of them. 18 windows, egress well pits and a couple, like doing everything. Renewal by Andersen said, no, we're not going to do any of those. We'll only do these 7 windows. And it's $38,000 or something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, I left a lot of money on the table here, but we're still all right. We're making plenty of money on the job. I'm happy. But opened my eyes up to, there's a huge hole in the market with these big companies, all right? They want to show up and only do pocket installs. Keep the existing frame, take out the window sashes, put a window in, bend some aluminum, rock and roll, all right? They make a lot of money doing that. They don't want to touch the reframes and making a window bigger or anything like that, or making a window smaller. They don't want to do that, or putting an egress window in a basement. They don't want to touch those things. So realistically, we can charge whatever we want to do those things, because finding somebody who can is very, very difficult, let alone a reputable company that does windows every day, all right? So there's a huge, gap in the market for just those type of things. And then knowing what you're talking about too. I just won another job that was $27,000. I think it was 12 windows or 13 windows, something like that. By simply like, well, these windows are only 6 inches off the ground. It was in a mobile home. These windows are only 6 inches off the ground. And I said mobile home, but it's like this lakefront little mobile home community, all right? So pretty nice, like uppity, right? It's all mostly second homes for these people. And I was like, these 4 double hungs are all just like 6 inches off the ground here. The bottom panes all need to be tempered glass. And they're like, you know what? Nobody else said anything about that. And we just went through that at our house back home. We were looking to sell it and had somebody come through, and they told us this window at the bottom of the stairs needed to be tempered. And so we had to go through that. And it's like, yeah, exactly. So these need to be tempered. And then they were going to convert 3 double hungs together on each side of their living room and make it 2 big sliders. And I was like, well, yeah, we can do that, but we have to reframe all of this because this is your roof line, that's your eaves, and that's carrying all the weight. And they're like, the other guys didn't say that. And I was like, well, I'm not willing to test it, because I can promise you in 6 months to a year, those windows ain't gonna move because the frame's gonna go like this. It's gonna frown at you. And they're like, that makes a lot of sense. I know that. I'm like, all right. Well, I didn't sell it on the spot. They actually went with a guy that was $10,000 less than I told them. And I was like, well, yeah, he's because they told me that. So yeah, he's 10 grand less. Like, I got 10 grand in framing and 10 grand in tempered glass. Like, you can either pay for it to be done right now, the full 30, or You can save 10 grand now and pay me another 10 grand to come back and do it in in a year or two. And they're like, all right. So they tested me. I said, I know exactly what's going to happen here. If you go with this company, the sales rep is going to send out a measure tech. Measure tech's going to show up and say, oh, we can't do it this way. They already got your signature. They already got your proof of financing, and they're going to get you automatically approved for more financing and say, hey, it's only going to be $40 more per month to do this the right way. This is, he's a sales rep. I'm the install guy. This is how it's supposed to be done. He's like, yeah, okay. Well, that's exactly what happened. He called me up a week later. He's like, hey, so I tested your theory, and I really wanted it for that $18,000 price they gave me, and exactly what you said happened. They sent out somebody to do final measurements. He told me this isn't going to work. We got to do this, and their all-in price was 27 and change. Can you match it? I said, no, sir, I can't match it. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm still going to go with you because you're the only one who knows what the heck they're talking about, apparently. All right, cool. Let's go. There's a huge gap. All right. That other company, they were already under contract. That's why they were going to do the framing. You just win the game by knowing what you know. All right. It's not rocket science. If you have a handy bone in your body, you can do windows. All right. And you can make an absolute crap ton of money doing windows. You all know me as like the gutter guy, right? The one who preaches about gutters, but we do roofing, gutters, and windows in my business. Like I said, really, really small area I live in. I by no means have the whole market share of gutters. There's definitely more I could be doing, but to hit the goals I wanted in the time frame I wanted, we added roofing and now windows. All right. So doing it a little bit different than I preach. Very much like if you live in a metro area, you stick with gutters until you're fully automated out of that business. Then you look at adding new services. All right. I had to do it a little bit different, and that's just the way it went. All right. So if you're on the fence for opening up a window business this year, I highly encourage you to do it. Do a little bit of market research. Have some of the big companies, the Renewal by Anderson's, the 1-800-Hanson's. If you're here in Michigan, All Weather Seal. There's a handful of these companies out there that have incredibly good or eerie construction, right? They're all over the country, I think, or definitely the Midwest. Have some of them out. Their presentation is incredible. All right, I've got some friends in other areas. If you're looking to do windows, and just comment and maybe I can direct you in the right direction. I've got friends in high places doing 20 million, whatever, in windows out of one location. And I could probably get you set up to do a shop tour with them and learn their ways, all right? There's a lot of money. There's a lot of opportunity inside of the window industry. Don't hesitate. Just take the leap of faith. Just kind of reverse engineer it. If you're making, let's call it $100,000 a year, all right, that's about $2,000 a week, for round numbers. Well, for $2,000 a week, how many windows do I have to do for that? Start pricing some stuff out. Man, if I just do 2 windows a week, I make more money than that. Yeah. Like if you are the one answering the phone, you're the one doing the sale, you're the one doing the install, and you install just 2 windows a week, you can make more money than that. Like, that's pretty cool. All right. It's not that hard to replace your income. Now, building an actual business, a little bit more difficult. All right. I don't call that owning a business if you're the guy that does everything. All right. You're self-employed. You're a slave to somebody else. All right. If you don't get up, you don't get paid. All right. If I don't get up, I still get paid. All right. That's the difference between a business and being self-employed. So don't hesitate to jump in, all, hands, feet, everything. All right. Rip the shirt off, jump in. All right. It is go time on your window business. There's a huge opportunity in it. I would never tell somebody, don't get into windows. All right. Get into gutters first. You can do gutter launch, learn business ship, and then add windows if you want. Or just jump in, rock and roll for it. All right. But no matter what, if you start a business, make sure you give bigly first, because that unlocks your ability to actually win bigly. There's a lot of people that think they win bigly, but nobody gets there first without giving bigly. Look at Alex Hormozy. He gives a ton. He's winning bigly. All right. Catch you all on the next one. See ya.